Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Disco Elysium. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you're chose to join me today as we talk to Evart Claire about who might have killed and who might have been the person who was killed. And this whole thing, the hanged man, the one in the photograph with the pictures and all that sort of, the tattoos I mean, and all that sort of stuff. Evart says that the militia of the Union are like you guys, and he nods to you and the lieutenant, like the police. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things don't happen, and if they already have, well, punishment must follow. Again, that sounds like organized crime, says our logic. I rambled about that already, logic. Please step back. So these idealists killed our victim, says Kim. One day, Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill this beast that was burdening the land." He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. He chuckles. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation. "Aren't you worried we might arrest them for this?" asks him. "Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in." He chuckles. "Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them." Despite his boastful tone, he's having doubts about something. But what? That's a formidable check on our empathy. Speaking of which, we leveled up last episode. So we could go ahead and check and get another level and get a thing for trying to convince the Hardy boys that the other check that I have somewhere in here. Where is it? Somewhere. It's somewhere. It's fine. We do have tasks as well. Getting the body down. I will indeed. Maybe he doesn't believe the boys really had it in them. They're his boys after all, says our empathy. With a formidable success, I should trust you, shouldn't I? I do think that I thought that they might be covering up. They acted like they were covering up for somebody. But then again, I was reading into their boastfulness and just sort of being ready to go, to take the fall as covering up, and not necessarily as being so self-assured that they would just don't care about admitting things to the police. So maybe my initial impression was wrong? I think you're sharing information with the police because you don't think they actually did it. That's very clever, Harry, yes. They might have said it just to impress some girls or something. He rubs his chin. But Titus had a bad temper, so the chances are 50-50. You mentioned a lawyer girl? Okay. Oh, Liz is a bright one. He grins broadly. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it would probably turn her all fancy, but hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal. It wouldn't surprise me, considering this conversation that we have had. There was a collection of colonial mugs there, by the way. Oh wait, this is that first option unlocked a bunch of other options. That's all. That's awesome. I like it. Tell me about Titus Hardy and his crew. Oh, they're simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary Union members, always working to advance their position in the local socialist democratic movement. Core members. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. He starts laughing. Gotta love his initiative. Interesting, says Kim. Who's second in command? They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the best interest of Martinez and Ravishol in mind. Work with them. Hell, interviewed them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you, men who like beer, women, and some other on the streets. Who said I like any of those things? Says our logic. He's betting on them being useless to you. Yeah, that's probably because they are. Yeah, Everard, I met these Hardys. Can you ask them to cooperate with me? But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend, Harry. I'll do it right after we have concluded this talk. You can now go and tell Titus about this. See what he has to say. Aha, that might allow me to get that check that was already at 50-something% chance to succeed. It might get the check through. Even though I probably should have gotten it through. We're getting a lot of experience, so we might get 2 level ups in the same conversation, which I am all about. Harry, also, here's 5 real. He holds out a banknote. I don't want to ask why he's giving it to me. I don't see what he's gonna tell me that that I don't know already. And there's a danger that he might not give it to me again. So what I want to do is I want to take it and forget that I take it. The lieutenant watches you pocket the banknote. He looks a bit puzzled. Kim, we need money. Shut up. And it's not embezzlement. I'm gonna fight against him. Maybe, I don't know. It's just not gonna influence my. It is actually from a police officer. That is also embezzlement. I'm not sure if it is the word bribery. Anyway, he's given me money already. That's the thing. So it doesn't really matter. It's not like the game is gonna, push it in my face and be like, you took those $5. No, I took the 100 or something before, or whatever it was, and who cares? It is bad for if we're taking this to court in a real life situation. Even a cent is enough to throw the testimony off balance. Oh, I guess a cent wouldn't be, but it's just sort of ridiculous. But you know what I mean. It's like even $5 is definitely enough for you to be like, this man can be trusted because he's willing to accept money from the people who might be responsible for the crimes that they're investigating. But I don't have such qualms because who cares? I need money, and also I need my gun. There's a lot worse stuff that I'm dealing with right now. There was a collection of colonial mugs there. I found a similar mug in the trash with the hanged man's clothes. Racist mugs in the trash and in the apartment? He grabs his head with both hands. You guys are just light years ahead of me. I have so much confidence in the ability of your organization. I'm relieved you're doing this and leaving me to do what I do best, helping people with the power of politics. Yes, says Kim. Do you think this weasel is somehow connected to the murder? Oh, no. I don't cross paths like that. He shakes his head, laughing. All I want is for you to succeed in your investigation. I would never complicate things for you. But this weasel might have cleaned up after the killers. I honestly thought that the mug might have been on the victim. And he might have been lying to me about who the weasel was. But then again, Mañana would have to be in on it, which I won't put it past him. But we're not approaching that it's not opportunity. What's the word? Possibility. We're not approaching that possibility in the slightest, so it's sort of leaving me hanging here. Everard says, "Believe me, Harry, he's a nobody. Just your basement variety nobody. Can't imagine him being connected to a high-caliber case like this. But he does live nearby. Maybe it's a pedantic weasel? Fascists are known to be neat freaks. I feel like a real detective right now, Harry. Am I getting this right?" He imitates bashing something with an imaginary baton. There's more to police work than whacking an imaginary baton. Of course, Harry. I'm not a real police officer. You are. Yes, I am. How do you know the mercenaries were hired by the shipping company? How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. He slams his fist on the desk. That's their MO. It's what they do. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The striker was over the workers' rights to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company after a little rebranding, and I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates. So you believe the scabs were organized by the security contractor? Asks Kim. You said it. Hell, the first... hell, he says, and the fist slams on the desk again. One of those guys looks big enough to take down the proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes. He's not scared of them, says our empathy. If anything, he likes them being here. Strange. Yeah, I was considering the possibility that he might be using one of his own mercenaries as an example of Pines. What are they called? Red Pines? Whatever the company name is. As an example of the company hiring mercenaries. Because I also wouldn't put it past him to use mercenaries on his own. To, you know, keep things in check and whatnot. You wouldn't want the rabble to think that they have too much power. What is this? Doing a little strike? Huh. You do the strike that I tell you to do. Not the one that you want. I'm just putting myself in his shoes, I suppose. Good talk. Let's conclude for now. Was it a good talk? He leans back, suddenly worried. I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I even wanted to tell you what I really want to achieve with a strike. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez, and of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. Great sadness comes over... Oh, no, that's the narrator saying. Great sadness comes over him. But it's like I can't completely trust you yet. Yet? Yet, yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left, he says, slowly shaking his head. I want to, but I just can't. A man of the left? Asks our rhetoric, with an easy success. So you have to be a social democrat? Ramble about how that is not... Anyway. He's been hurt too much in the past, our empathy says, by men who aren't social democrats, with quotes on that. It's not... It's the in-game quotes. And we have 4 options. Starting with the last one. Oh no, the last one isn't, I don't mess into politics. Let's see what we have. I am not a man of the left, I'm a patriot of Revachol. Which means... what exactly? I'm not sure what a patriot of Revachol means. It could be the opposite of men of the left, for all I know. Or it could be just even more men of the left. I'm not gonna go with it. Patriotism is kind of complicated. You're right not to trust me, I take care of me. I'm a hustler, I grind. I am a money engineer. So that would be the... I think these 4 options here are for the 4... so we have the moralists, we have the communists, we have the ultra-liberals, and we have the fascists. Is that what we're called? Actually, we can... Can we not? Yeah, we can. These ones over here. Yeah. So that would be the moralists, probably. The first one, this is probably the ultra-liberals. What's that supposed to mean? I'm more left than you are. I wish that they would talk more about my role as a police officer in whenever I say stuff like this. They sort of allude to it every once in a while, but it's not consistent enough for it to be like a thorough point of the game. And then what's the other one? The fascist. This is another corrupt scheme, isn't it? I'm neither left nor right. I do what my heart tells me to do. Okay, so that isn't... Would this be the fascist? The money engineer? It's kind of complicated because fascism has a lot to do with... Well, not necessarily, but has a lot to do with race a lot of the time. So this would be the I don't play politics card. Let's go with this one. Let's see if he calls my role as a police officer. What's that supposed to mean? I'm more left than you are. With your social democracy. You're saying it, but I don't believe you, he says. You know how it is. Company snitches, agent provocateurs everywhere. I'm barricaded in this fortress of mine, and I need to get a message out. Will you help me? And what would this entail? Asks Kim. Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper. He pulls out an envelope. And then mail it to my account in La Delta. What are the signatures for? I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth century Martinez. He grins broadly. It will be righteous. We're gonna get those teenagers off drugs and on roller skates. There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground, Harry. To think that... it's kind of he mentions that taking them off drugs is that is a very complicated thing, because usually, well, it's not usually. It's very complicated, as I said. There is a relationship between drug dependency problems. There's a relationship between that and the profit motive of drug dealers, and in turn, the profit motive of drug dealers has a very, very close relationship with prohibition. And I say drug dealers, you can apply that to anything that is prohibited. Literally everything. Literally anything. And that's usually actually one of the common or frequent arguments in favor of liberalization of drugs is that it just allows for, it just stops the exploitation and the profit motive behind drugs being pushed in the first place. But of course, because this is a free market, there is you can't you need to approach it from the liberalization aspect of things, and rather than from the just don't sell the drugs, because if it was a closed market, you just wouldn't sell the drugs. And if the people didn't have money or anything like that, and they just had what the union gave them or whatnot, then they wouldn't buy drugs either, unless of course they were just given the drugs. But why would you give people drugs if you don't get any money for it? So it's interesting that he talks about it, and it's not the first that it happens. At the same time, the drug problem, it's kind of complicated as well. It's a really complicated issue because it has multiple roots in different countries throughout history, and alcohol as well, which is also a drug. But the prohibition of alcohol sees the same thing, tobacco and cannabis and all this sort of stuff. So, Kim, what do you... Oh, wait. Where's this place exactly, I'm going to ask. On the coast, Harry, across the canal, there's a cul-de-sac there. A little village, they're calling it. A gloomy place. You'll find it. I trust your detective skills, Harry. And what will happen to the current occupants? They're just gonna have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings, right next to a fancy new youth center, designed by the best architects from Stella Maris. Kim, what do you think of this? Oh, it depends, says Kim. I don't think what we just got from Mr. Eclair was very useful. He studies of art. But he thinks it's your call, says our esprit de corps. It is. As I said, it weighs on me heavily. He bows his head in shame and then looks up and smiles. But once we get really talking, well, I'm gonna hand you the keys to Martinez, and maybe even help you figure out who's behind this killing. No, I'm not going to do this. For 2 reasons. First off, because no. And then the other one is because I said before that I was going to take the money and not really necessarily help him. So it's just it's a nice opportunity for me to prove that that doesn't influence me. Perfectly acceptable, he smiles. No one's going to force you into anything, but I don't know about that gun of yours. You see, I'm a vengeful man, Harry. Part of how I got where I am is that, well, I can be quite nasty sometimes. But the good news is, the moment you change your mind and want to look into this matter, just tell me and we'll be buddies again. He smiles pleasantly. The lieutenant's eyes meet yours and he shrugs. Okay, fine, is what Kim means by that. Also, this paragraph over here basically means that the preamble for this conversation is pointless. Which, contrary to what sometimes happens in video games, in this case, it's actually very good writing. Because he was saying, I don't trust you, so will you do this for me? So I can trust you. And then he immediately throws that out the window. He just says, will you do this for me? And he's just basically holding the carrot in front of me. On the stick, or whatever the name of the thing is. Can we go over a few details concerning the murder again? And no, I can't. Okay, I'm going to leave now, but we might talk again later. See you soon, Debardeur. The big man raises his hand in farewell. Just kidding, but not too much. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Just kidding, but not too much. Are you not kidding too much, or are you not too much soon? That's not a word. You're not... I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know what he meant by that. It's fine. We have things to do. We have people to talk to. People who might advance our goals. But probably won't.
I need to be back to talk with Oli.
It's fine. I'll see you later. Let's have a chat with Measurehead. I'm sure that's going to be pleasant and not at all cringe. In the sense that I said... I don't often use that word. But it's not at all... What's the word? What's the word that I wanted to use? Why do I go with cringe? It's still what I mean, but it's just like... repulsive. Let's go with that. So it's just it's a prettier word. It's a prettier word. Repulsive. Wild Pines is the name of the company that I was trying to remember. So always pressing tab to make sure I'm not missing anything. And going down back to Mañana. And to Measurehead's place. It's interesting that Kim didn't want to say anything about it. Does he start combat with me? No, I think a little dialogue bubble shows up above his portrait. Or on his portrait. Actually, you know what? Let's have a chat with Mañana. I haven't figured out his alliances yet. So it's kind of complicated.
Hola, Wandering Man.
He doesn't talk. Which might mean that he's allied to Evrart just through and through. Okay. Never got through there.
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
I can knock him out. I can do that. I can actually do that. Physical instrument, I think I have an extra... Like, well, besides the drug. Don't want to do that. I think I have an extra point. Maybe even have an... let's see, physical instrument. Yeah, it's not going down. I only have this one. So it would be unlikely. And also, I'd be fighting him. We could do that, but I'm not gonna.
Your race
My race.
Worsened since I last saw you.
Why are you not with the Hardy Boys? I am not the first line of defense. I am the last. He looks towards the coast defiantly. In addition, these so-called Hardy Boys are an effeminate clique of bodybuilders. Their company is spiritually degrading. But you're all part of the Union? The Hardy manlets are on the pay of the company. I answer to the Union alone, and I do this out of race heroism. Finance is an alien concept to the Seminese. Now leave me be. I must luxuriate in the company of my woman. Okay, and this would be the way to get past... Ooh, what is that? Manana's hint. Mañana's. Not Manana's. Mañana's hint. Yeah. So that's for me to get past and open the door. I don't need to do that anymore. Do you know anything about this mug? And I'm going to show him the mug. I can't believe I didn't show it before. He does not so much as glance at the object. This is your kind of thing? Stop showing me your pathetic cup. I have no interest in it. Evrard told you to... I stole an ID card, and that's another way of getting in here. I'll do that. Don't be such an asshole to your fellow dock worker. The man looks at you, silent and unmoving. His eyes burrow into the remnants of your soul. You are not Santiago. Santiago is not you. Even the phrenically impaired can see this. That's cranially impaired. If I told you, I wonder if that changed anything. Doesn't look like it. If I told you to get to help us get the body down from the tree. So it was you. You surmounted the harbor wall in a display of athletic prowess to reach my superior, and then had him give me an order. I salute your cunning, and I will remove the body from the tree with my bare hands. You're so noble, Measurehead. But while I am gone, Someone must stand guard on that bridge. Someone needs to be you. He turns to Kim. Both of you. Lieutenant, what if we don't want to do that? This is the uncomfortable result of not taking it down ourselves, says Kim. I can live with a compromise. Listen to your little friend. He is wise in his childlike way. His mysterious race may yet prove fierce competition to my heroic haplogroup. Sure. Sure. Okay, then. I'm gonna wait here while Measurehead goes. Babe, see that they stay here the whole time. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do to guard things, but if it's just guarding the activator switch for the gate or whatever, I can do that. The woman's gaze follows Measurehead as he leaves. She turns to you. So you guys are like cops or something? Apparently so. Cool. I like men with guns and power. The woman twirls her hair. I'm Katya, by the way. You hear that? I do, Kim, yeah. The lieutenant looks towards the yard. That sounds like he's breaking something. Yeah, Jean-Luc must be really tearing it up over there. I wish I could see it. Alas, I also wish I could see it. Look at you. Oh, that's the scamp leader down there. Look at you, RCM Rent-A-Cops. A loud voice booms in from below. Guarding that bridge like Evart's lapdogs. Is this where it's at now? The RCM is for sale. And who are you? The lieutenant fires back. What is your business here? Why are your clothes 4 sizes too small for you? That's none of your business, I'm gonna say. And with that, I think I diffused the situation. A shrill laughter interrupts you, echoing across Martinez. It's Kuno. And then the man turns to look behind him at the behemoth appearing around the corner, approaching him, walking past him. I don't know what Kuno did. Why is Kuno laughing? The corpse has been removed from the tree. He brushes wooden flakes off his hand. Stand down and congratulate yourself. You have sided with race victory today. There has been no side choosing. We did what we had to do to keep order. He nods slowly. And what you had to do was to become a Union man for all to see. Huh. Interesting. I wonder what happened. Let's find out next episode. For right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Disco Elysium. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later, but above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.